7 is
There was one correction on one of them. That regular meeting, not the special meeting,
this is the 7th then, or is that the special?
should be the 13th. Halfway down on the first page, motion to approve the energy adjustment factor. There's all was yes, I voted against that. That would be the change I would see. Doesn't change anything else except it's not what happened to me.
Anything else?
And will we accept the minutes of the time?
Motion for second.
I'll second.
Motion for second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approve the invoices.
Is that office assistant, the 62,000, is that just a one-time deal?
One-time deal, once a year.
Do we do that beginning of
I've done
fiscal
it
year?
in July or August, the time of the school year.
That Resco, the Bear, messenger wire, is that the new conversion? That Stanley Roofing, that East High Bay, is that good for so long?
I can't remember what the warranty was on that. It wasn't, I doubt if it was 10 year. I mean, that was just a recoat of what was up there. We think we get some more life out of it by doing that now before the infrared takes it completely bad.
Anything else? Motion? I'll make a motion. Motion by Baron, second.
Second.
Easton. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Receive and file communications, petitions, or remonstrances. Being none? Okay. Approve the agenda. Motion by Woodhouse, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Citizens input. None. 7, old business. Follow-up information on new generation at 69 kV substation.
Well, we did some checking with Mount Pleasant on their system. I think both Mount Pleasant and Amana are the two largest municipals in the RPGI. We're the third largest. And we visited Mount Pleasant. They actually have a maintenance agreement. I think it's with CAT. They're paying around $7,600 a month just to have them available if something. They're still doing the routine equipment maintenance with their own employees. In fact, they still use 6 employees and do 3 shifts a day. But those people are also doing the water responsibilities as well. And the last thing he said was he wished he had units like ours instead of the cats that he's got. I didn't get everything I wanted from Amana. He's got he only got a couple employees now. He doesn't use a maintenance agreement to take care of anything, and he's probably spending, from what he gave me, $7,000 to $38,000 on maintenance costs over the last couple of years. I looked at what we were spending, and we were in the range between $1,000 and $10,000. It seems like we got a really cheap year, and then there's one year and there's more stuff. So I guess maintenance-wise, we're probably. I didn't count maintenance against the evaluation when I was looking at what it was costing us now and all that. So we're still probably $150,000 to keep the system together. Well, he had a 3-year history, and I didn't go back further to see what he had. I mean, ours is going to be the same thing. If they got a number of things I got to do, that'll be the 10K type thing. I think Plant's done a good job keeping track on everything. He does a lot of proactive stuff to keep things working well. I know everybody is running out of personnel that can do this. I know Congress looking for one they hired last year is gone. I don't know what they're going to do. And that was the guy from Amana said that if he didn't have one of his employees that he had, he couldn't do what he's doing.
Even on the gas.
Yeah.
It's gonna be worse on the old slow speeds as far as finding somebody like Kevin. They'll be around in the next 20 years or something.
Well, that's why you gotta get a younger guy working with this little bit of knowledge. So that's about all I had for you.
How many KW for Vegas would that have been? That 7,200 a month for Mount Pleasant?
I think they had probably 24 megawatts.
That's a pretty good sized jump there. As I say, it sounds like an awful lot of money, but that many, that's per unit, that'd be nice. So, why came from that meeting, nice talking meeting the other day, by the way, why does the City Hall and the jail, City Hall and the bus barn thing and the EMS, the ambulance, get FEMA, particularly the police department, with what, you got water in the basement here? Is that right? The flood?
There were a little bit. They came and took care of the parking lot. There was.
I thought Bob Fisher said last night that the City Hall did flood too, but I never heard of that, but regardless, how the heck, and we couldn't get squat out of FEMA, why, is it the type they're a essential service in the art, or what do you think?
I don't know, that could be it. I think Chris Ward told me yesterday that somebody from FEMA was going to be coming. And, I guess that's news to me because they haven't ever contacted me about that other than the normal stuff. I think you start looking at that ratio, is it more than 50% to relocate or replace than to stay where you're at? I mean, CFU went through that same thing in 2008.
Yeah.
And it was cheaper to fix it than it was to move.
I agree, but here, I don't know why they've seen the FEMA issue, that's why I can't understand it.
Well, maybe we can see if they give us some money to put up
It just seems like we gotta get something. I mean, we really took it to shorts and we get nothing.
well, I think that if they move the fire department, I think they have to tear that building down, which is a shame. That would be nice cold storage. But they would have to go away, and that probably makes putting a HESCO barrier around a little bit simpler. I was still trying to look at wanting to put it on the north wall so that if we had a flash flood, you know, that's worry about trying to get the first layer put up there.
I still like that.
Well, I think the state didn't have much money. I mean, you can apply for stuff. It's like they aren't throwing anything. And a lot of that had to do with what Cedar Rapids. You know, they didn't save anything. We at least saved HESCO. Use it more than once.
They got $12 million, 10 or 12 million, they said at that meeting yesterday. I'm like, my God, didn't I have $12 million for a flood relocation of I don't know fire departments, but they could have just something doesn't seem right.
Well, maybe this FEMA person that's coming in a couple of weeks can explain it.
Jump over it. Okay, cool. That's thanks for following for that too. That's, you know, I'm like one guy said, rather have our big old girls. I still would too, but it's just we're still worried about the river. But
Well, I never saw the river so low since I've been here. I don't think it's around the crossing right now.
We relax it. Forget the Escos. It's gone. Climate change is gone the other way. All right, good. Any questions for Tom on that? I'll probably whip hammer away on this. Consider monthly energy adjustment factor. Is there a motion? Is there a second? 0.004.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
Number 8, new business. Receive and file August. Jeez. Oh, very good. Financial reports. System issue. Receive and file August financial report.
Do we ever get our money from the revenue bond yet for the municipalities or whatever? I mean, that might come in.
Just 3.6, not the second.
It's not. I thought they had that. I thought the banker asked me, they got a big check and didn't know what to do with it. I said, oh yeah, we have that coming. She might have checked that, cause this, I mean, that's,
I pull the bank account every day and look at it. I haven't seen 6 or 7 million.
okay.
You sure he hasn't absconded?
Could have been told that when he asked for that. I said, yeah, we have that coming.
Well, what you tell them to do with that is the big question.
Said it's
Put it in your account or
money,
something?
not the cities, it's the utility. Okay.
Might not hurt.
I want to check on that.
Just double check this. She did say something to me. Lines, but want to know what to do with it.
Date.
That's what she said. Last.
It's been last month.
Yeah, last week.
I thought it'd be on there this month. But maybe he just meant 3.6, I guess.
I did try to get a little more interest out of them to come up with a get because the IT person stopped in to talk to Tom and myself one day. They would offer a little bit better interest rate.
I think everything you get, yeah.
So the 975,000 is which contractor? Is that just carry over? Just
What are you looking at?
capital expense 975,000. Minor little item. Exactly what is it?
Yeah, that's the fiber project. That's the line item. It's in 45,000 on page 4 of the little numbers.
So that's our expense, right? That's not
That
communication.
So I was thinking this was money that we spent last month on the fiber. It was 80% of the material, which was 600 and some, and then there was site surveys in there, a bunch of 2 or 3 different things that took that up to that.
Is there some point will the fiber fund reimburse the electric utility for that line item?
Yeah, part of that.
Part of it, so.
Part of it, but not. I mean, we have some of our own costs.
The electric purpose, the main fiber is going to be the electric, and they'll lease that back. So
Right.
that part, most of that's coming from central cable, which is basically the duct and the fiber. Once we get to the hut and everything in it will be on the communication, and anything inside the homes will be the communication.
Yeah, I just figured some of those fiber bills are probably coming in.
Yeah, I think some of that has to get.
That's why I thought maybe the money to pay for it might be here too. I just try to piece things together.
Well, that $3 million probably paid for that.
That's over communication.
That's it in the fund 950.
Yeah, so they pay the electrical with that.
Yeah.
Since some of that is their capital.
Yeah, but some of it doesn't sound like much.
Some of it is not all of it.
I just don't want us to get down the road and not know which one goes
No, I
where,
know,
and all of a sudden we're scrambling.
I understand. I keep it separately from this thing so that
Okay, as long as we know.
I printed it out. This is
Fine.
45,000.
We know on a monthly meetings where it's up there. We're far enough
At
into
some
this.
point.
yeah, I haven't been able to get in there for that yet.
So, at some point, we're going to decide 954 will pay back 950. Sure. One of those
got a new version of Vmeu that I haven't learned how to use yet.
So, and just to refresh me, that other electric revenue that's been budgeted for 825, that's probably the lease income that's gonna be coming later. We haven't had any activity on it. It's, 94,565.
Yeah, that was probably before we got too far on the other, so I put something in there just to have it. I'm probably gonna have to modify both budgets.
Yeah, making sure that's,
You can reduce the one and increase the other. I just wanted something in there because I knew it was coming.
I figured that's what it was for that amount.
Well, last month we asked you guys to make sure that we're getting off the right foot and communication to you, so it's time that we get these two sets of books in.
It's one set of books. Two different products. Okay?
There'll be some journal entries to get it out of one utility into the other utility. And hopefully we do that once, and then from then on, it's in the right fund.
Right, and the expenses coming out of the right fund.
Right.
The further we go, the bigger the entry is, or more part of that entry, so. But
Right now, just about everything, most of it's going to the communication utility right now.
Yep. Just make sure when the audit time comes, we're good.
I don't know if we got an auditor to do the last fiscal year yet.
No, they're coming in the end of this month.
They are, yeah. Same company as
Yeah, this is their third year.
Can't wait.
Normally we try to be proactive and do it ahead of time instead of waiting. Anything else on the financials? Is there a motion? Yeah. Alan, second. Aaron, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Reports.
Okay, line crew's been trimming a lot of trees, been performing a lot of locates for the fiber job, and they're in the process of rebuilding lines over there by the bus barn area. I guess I forgot I was going to send a memo back to the school. Now that Brad's got a couple of young guys, he's working the heck out of them on these projects, and I don't think he wants to get involved with the school's want for the lighting on the parking lot. I think there's still some people in town that can do it, and I guess it all depends on. We do have the two-man buckets, but I'm not sure that's a two-man bucket job. We're doing some of that.
I know last month we said we weren't done.
Well, I think we said they need to check with locals and see. So, generation plant, they're working their normal general maintenance. They've assisted working the hut with Fartech. They've been painting in the new event office, and Kevin's working on a new fuel oil circulation filtering system that I think he's pretty excited about. And then we did get a certificate of exceptional service for Vmeu for Heartland Safety and Support, which is the HIS thing that we're participating in. I don't think I've ever received one of those in the past 3 years, so I'll have to put it up on one of the guys' walls so they can stare at it.
What was the criteria that you got?
I think you just participate, and we contribute financially and all that. They have the meetings here and around, so I don't think anybody's had any major injuries or problems, so unless hopefully it's paying off. Well, Brad's pretty, he's got a tight rein on those guys now. So. And that's all for the electric side.
Okay. Simple.
No comment.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Okay. The Municipal Communications Utility Board of Trustees, call to order.
Woodhouse.
Here.
Meyer. Here. Eastock.
Yes.
Ollie.
Yes.
LaFerrin.
Here. Approve the minutes of the 8:13 and 8:7.
So moved.
Second? Second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Approve invoices. Transformer for Elwick Electric for the hut or somewhere, what's that?
Yeah, that was powerful.
Payroll, that's the new gal and then half of the other two, or I guess how, I don't know if they're split it.
It's half a Tom, half the whole Teal, and the whole of Angie.
So Cheryl had them.
She's working half-time too, so her and Tennille are sharing that.
Okay, so she,
But she's still on the city side, and the electric utility still reimburses the city for that.
It works good having three of them to spread that out a little better. I guess the unfortunate thing is Tennille and Cheryl won't get to work together so much in the office here, so have to sacrifice for the good of the cause.
as long as they're happy, right?
Oh, they're happy. They're pretty excited actually about this project.
See it?
Any other invoice questions or discussion? Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
The second? Second. Move the second. Okay. Discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Citizens input. Nope. Well, where are we at? Approve agenda. Let's jump to down. Receive, actually. Receive and file communications. Okay? Approve the agenda.
Yeah.
Second. Move and second. Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Citizens input now. None. Old business. That's why I'm reading the wrong damn, those are the same order. Old business, status report and partnerships. I'm on CFU, WIN, Patriot, and Consortium.
Okay, the only, we got the billing agreement with IMON taken care of. We're still working and hopefully be able to finish up on the internet and transport agreements. I'm still trying to get a price from WIN out of their agreement. I couldn't find it initially, and until I get that, I don't want to finish this, but we got maps from Corey's guys last Wednesday, and we think we've got a diverse enough route. We actually have 3 routes now. 2 are with IMON going north and south. One goes to Cedar Falls, one goes down to Hiawatha, Cedar Rapids area. And then we have the WIN that's also part of that. And I guess I need to visit with you to see if we take the WIN one, whether we ever gonna need to take the second route. Yeah.
Well, just one thing from an internet standpoint. You mean,
Well, yeah, WIN's only providing internet duplication now. You're the only one to be able to do the video.
yeah, then the voice is going to be redundant too. The one thing I keep in mind that the price difference, because the equipment we're putting in the network to support redundancy on the internet's not really affecting our cost per se, but so it's not really going to affect the price. But the other thing to keep in mind too is we're basically sending X gig down path A, we're sending X gig down path Z. So if one of those gets cut, it's not going to impact the total bandwidth that's hitting Vinton. Or if you've got wind, you've got IMON, you're going to kind of have to oversubscribe because if one of us goes down, you're at 50% capacity to serve the city. So that's the other thing you kind of keep in mind in regards to that.
So are you telling me I don't need wind then?
They're good at the physical, we're protected. The higher level, the routing and things, it's good to have that second one though, just because if something theoretically went catastrophic in our routes, you got a backup. So there is a value there.
Are both those routes needed to do the phone?
Yeah. The phone, everybody wants the internet, but the phone's one of those things where, you know, if someone picks up the phone, you can't dial 911 or something like that. That's where it gets problematic. But generally, unless there's a really compelling reason, we won't sell services to voice services unless there's two routes.
Okay. All the other agreements are pretty much in play right now. Let's just finishing up this with the wind and IMON.
Partnership? Is that what it was? It is.
What's that?
The partnership was in place? with
No.
IMO?
Well, the operation one is the other one that we're going to finish up.
Yeah, operation. When is that going to happen?
Well, let's sit down and discuss your personnel, I guess, that you're bringing in.
True.
I think you've been over to the office, so you've seen the office layout and the spot where our tech can work. And I don't know if you need a different storage setup.
The spot for kind of, again, the kind of one tech that's really dedicated, other techs that are going to kind of flow over. But so the tech space is good. The one I really wanted our primary Vinton assigned tech that's 24/7 Vinton to be in that office so they can develop a report with the folks working here. So that's fine. The storage in there is going to be good for what I call customer care storage. So you got a few extra cable boxes, a few extra modems and things like that. So that way customer care can take that out. But we'll want to find out. And it doesn't have to be ultra environmentally protected, but somewhere to have kind of bulk shipment. So you get 500 STVs in or a giant box of Ethernet, somewhere to put that. Again, it doesn't need to be 72 degrees 24/7, but just as long as it's relatively environmentally, you go to some extreme. But I can stop by and try to work in, get you a fine store.
I can show you what we got available in our building.
I was thinking there might be something electric, yeah. And we can provide all the racking and stuff.
We got cold storage that doesn't have any heat. That doesn't sound like that would work for this.
Does it get, how cold does it get?
Well, whatever outdoor temperatures are.
So there's not even a
There's
modicum of.
Well, it's garage, door shuts.
And I can bring my warehouse specialist up, and otherwise I'm just making educated guesses, to be honest with you, on the warehouse aspect. I can bring my warehouse specialist up and take a look. Yeah, we'll put design the shelves and stuff for you and everything like that. Okay. But the office looks good. So. It's got a lot of windows, which is something my office does not have at all. I have no idea if it's raining or sunshine. So.
You get one of those pictures that shows it raining or sunny. That's all our number A.
Great. B, site surveys and construction projects.
Okay, the last time I checked, the site surveys were up around 1,667. And we've got about 150 orders in place for services. we did wind up changing the method, tried to simplify it for people to sign up. They were having a little bit of hard time understanding the crowd fiber for signing up. For surveys, not a problem, but for trying to pick products, that was a little difficult. So I think we got that changed now. And that probably only took place yesterday. And let's see. Well, Dave, you want to tell them what you're doing on the?
Sure. Can I do it from here, or is that okay? So, got about 21% of the main line duct in. So you're about a fifth done with the duct itself for the main line. You go to the drops. We keep track of the drops just per drop based on how many people sign up. So there's not necessarily a footage for that. So that is the main line duct that we're doing. So you're basically about 21% done. Some of the MSTs, some of the terminals and all that, we're starting to pull some of those in. If you've seen them put hand holes and holes around for those lids, and they're putting those in too. So when you look at mainline, when they say 3 drills, that's 3 drills plus all the other guys that are actually doing, hand holes and stuff like that. And drop crew, they call it one crew, but they've got a boring machine, the vibrator plows, so there's multiple. So they're putting a lot of drops in right now. So I'm guessing the next Thursday, now that they're really going on the drops, they're going to be, that number's going to start jumping. FSC3, which is the orange, if you look at any of those maps out there, they're going to be basically finished with that this week. We've got a few more streets to do, but they figured right on Thursday, they'll be pretty much done with that, the odds and ends. And then
it's like, that's like the, where it's like.
That's the southwest corner.
Yeah.
So we're the winner then?
Kind of.
We're the winner.
You're the winner. Where were you there?
Did 3 drop.
So, and then next week, there we go. I'm not sure how you do your contest.
I didn't really flash on mine.
I don't either.
Dennis was at my house yesterday, so I got all kinds of colored stuff on my yard. I'm excited.
And I guess at some point maybe we need to have a map in here. Then next week the plan is to start working on FSC4, which is the yellow, and FSC5. And 5 I think is kind of the small one. We're working on, and part of that is that the internal ring that we have, FSC4 has the final connection on the ring, so we'll pretty much have the ring done. And they're also going to be working on getting the connections down to the meet points, the various meet points with the third-party vendors like I'm on and Win over the next 2 or 3 weeks. When they get done with that, then they're going to move to what we call the CO area out of the hut and then start connecting that in there. Probably about then, within the next month, and I think you might even start seeing some cable start getting pushed in. It just depends on the scheduling there, because I mean, the basic direction we give somebody like Central is, it's the Midwest, get the duct in the ground. And, because a lot of the same people that are doing the duct work will be the ones pushing cable in. So we keep reminding them, at this point, I'm a lot more interested in making sure we get as much duct in the ground, because we can push cable in December, but we can't, tear up your streets. In the CO area, and then come down Main Street. Main Street will be one of the last ones done, which sometimes businesses don't understand. But again, per weather, when you're coming down concrete driveways, whether you're doing that later in the year or not, plus the contractor, and rightfully so, wants to see as many of those people signed up as possible, so that when those boring rings are coming down an alley, going into and boring into the various businesses, he wants them to be able to just walk it down the street if he can. So that's kind of the order. So you're going to see FSC3 and orange pretty much getting done next week. There'll be some odds and ends. Everybody's hoping to have it all done this week. And then next week we'll move into those other 2 areas and just keep working our way through there. So far we've had just a couple of minor issues. Somebody had a gas line that was on private property in between the 2 houses. So it wasn't located by the locate crews. And Alliant, to their credit, came in, well, this shouldn't be, and they buried a new line up into the one guy's house, so right away. So it wasn't anybody's, one of those deals where even the locate guys were basically on private property, and nobody knew So I don't know how many years it's been that way, but somebody could have cut up the other guy's gas pretty easily. We had a water line at some mislocates, so we got after the locate crews, so they brought in a couple more experienced guys. These locate things, they have a really logistical problem of getting people to do this, because they're on the road all the time. So they get tired of it, they're gone one day, so we're always fighting that. I mean, it's part of this one call, so instead of the utilities doing all the locates, they do this one call, but I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that, because you can get some good ones or you can get some bad ones, so we had to get on them a few weeks ago about get some people in here to know what they're doing. Train the people you got here, because you obviously didn't want to train. I mean, they'd be 5 feet off. So far, it's one thing to be a little bit off, but you can't have Central digging holes all over the place trying to find out where it really is. So, but they've been much better in the last week or two. I talked to my resident today. He thought it's improved a lot. There's 2 different locate groups, and they're both doing a lot better job.
Excuse me, are we still doing our own, or for the big project like this, are we hiring out vendors for water and sewer? We still are. I thought maybe
So he does your own.
I know you normally did, but I thought it was such a big project that you would hire it out.
Well, I don't know, they probably wouldn't know it as good as us anyway.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, a lot more pride when you're doing it, when you're gonna have to fix it, so you want to make sure you do it right. And they've changed the process a little bit as well, because they were doing a whole area of town asking for locates, and it was overwhelming them a little bit. So now they've actually fine-tuned that a little bit. Of basically, the contractor's looking very carefully about, okay, this is how much I'm getting done in a day, so I want to make sure I called in this area, then this next area, and then this next few blocks, and that's working pretty good. I mean, it puts a lot more pressure on on Central Cable to make sure they call it in, but they're being more focused on it, because frankly, they were getting to an area and they hadn't located there because they're off in another part of town, and because he was calling it kind of a bulk bigger area. And again, at the beginning, they didn't have enough locators in town either, so. But I think they've got that pretty well worked out. At least my resident saying he's pretty happy with that. And then obviously just prepping for where the cabinets are going to be and the various handholds and those guys running around doing that.
What's the actual handhole? Is it a plastic? Box?
Usually it's a fiberglass with a concrete lid. Now that's the handhole part of it, and then it's very sturdy. And if you're ever there, I mean, we don't want to encourage everybody to be sidewalk supervising, but it's good to see what that looks like. And then they put the lid over the top, and then you'll see the regular pedestals that are, the above ground, very similar to what you have right now. I mean, some entities have went handholds everything, but it's a lot more expensive. So it's usually for the bigger cables and the bigger splices that we put those in, and you'll see, nobody wants a pedestal farm in front of their house, but that's what you want. What I saw of what they're doing a pretty good job. Obviously, they block the street when they put that boring machine out there, but it's a lot better than taking it up on the curb and tearing it up, especially the rain you guys had. So overall, I'm pretty happy with what Central's doing.
Pedestal in front of every house then?
No. They'll be in a location and they may serve 4 houses. A lot of times we try to you can do more than that, but we're trying to, because again, the distances get to be so far out there that it's better to have another pedestal. But you'll see where sometimes there's a pedestal and it goes around the corner to the house. You've got the floor here and it might go around the corner to the next house. And a lot of that's distance related, just how far we really want to be away from.
So if you have a stick in your front lawn, that means you're getting what?
You're probably getting a pedestal. If you see an HH on it, it says that's a handle. A lot of times it'll say like P or PED number, whatever, which is part of the route. So it just corresponds to our staking sheets. But if you see HH, that's probably a hand. That is a handle.
And so the duck, as you call it, that's just standing up in people's yard, call that itself no wooden stick. What's going to be there when they're done?
So some of that duct, it's really coming from. Think of it coming from your house to the property line, and that's where it's sticking up. When they come across with some of the main line, then they'll open it up there and connect that in there, and then put a splice in there, and then they'll take another extra duct from. So it's basically your house will go to the pedestal or to that handhole, and so then that will all be buried.
I expect people want to hear what you just said.
and vice versa, the same. Sometimes the drop crews are ahead of the main line, and sometimes vice versa. So in some cases, then whoever comes in second has to dig down, pull the other one up, and then in some cases where people or where companies say, even if you don't sign up, if you'll at least put the duct in there, for example, we never ever sign you up. There's another methods in that, but this is a little different here. Where anybody who's signed up for this duct is going to have that duct pulled into whatever pedestal serves them or handhold serves them, and then whenever we put the cable in, which is the real expense, the most expensive thing, then they're ready to go. So that's, again, that's what's encouraging about the 76% that signed up for duct. It's a bit of a risk. It's obviously not every single one of those will sign up right away, but the nice thing is that come February, if somebody signs up who has done this, well, in this case, you guys can come in there, we can put the cable in, hook them up, turn them up in February, not have to wait till spring. So there is some, and that's what's going to happen. I know, got some comments today as I've been around the, sign up, we want even faster. Well, I'm not unhappy with the sign up so far, considering we had a little glitch, with the software, and they've corrected that. I think the Facebook thing that will work even better. But as it gets going and people really start signing up and we get closer to turnover or cut over, then you're going to get more excitement again. Every time I've ever done these, that's when, the neighbor just got turned up. That's when the phone call rings for that one that's been waiting and seeing. And there's a certain amount of that. There's like, okay, I know you're promising me this, but I've been promised this by other entities too. So I'm not at all disappointed with, at least with the sign up right now, because again, Tom and I had quite a discussion today. You've got a bunch of unique businesses in town, like the Lutheran Center and the home and that pretty much we're going to have to go there and sit down and see exactly what they're doing today, how they charge their residents, so that we can kind of mirror that, at least service that they're getting today. And each one of those is going to be different. You can't put a rate out there on the internet that says, you have a basic residential, basic business. That's different. Your hospital's different, but that's no different than anybody incumbents do. They have to go out there and talk to them directly. You have your base, because again, are you serving 100 units and are you serving these duplexes out there? How do they do them today? Because some of your businesses actually charge as part of their rent. Basic internet, basic phone, and if they want to do some more, you go from there, which is nice because then you're sending one bill, in this case like to the Lutheran Center, and then they collect for everybody. So that's actually pretty awesome. But again, just be aware that and the reason I'm saying that is because you guys will get hit with this too about moms. I'm still confused about that. Well, that's really what we got to just sit down with them, whether I'm helping or anybody. We just got to sit down and number one, what are you getting today? How are you paying today? How do you want to do it? And you have individual apartments and they're in charge of their own internet phone? Great, we treat them as an individual residential. If they're part of your group, all right, let's talk about that.
Is that you guys doing that?
I can help with that. I mean, you really don't have a sales guy yet.
Right.
I mean, that's techie enough to do that. So it's something that I'm passing through all the time. So we've had some conversations with a couple of people, and I'm just trying to help out. It's not a big deal to us. It's just saying, okay, here's technically how you can do it, but if you kind of keep in mind that trying to make a salesman out of Tom, but when he's talking to him, most people will share what they're doing today, especially the larger ones. They'll probably give you a copy and say, okay, we got so many units, this is our price that we're getting from whoever. Can you get in that area? And what kind of service, what kind of internet are you getting, what speeds and all that? And then you build a package to come back to them and say, okay, here's what we're going to do to meet and exceed, and here's the price. Are you interested? And then you're basically, for the most part, it's not a lot of negotiations, but a lot of just understanding what their service is today. Well, these larger entities, like the hospital, do the same thing in the school. They have different needs. And some of your bigger banks have different needs. For example, your business in town. A lot of the businesses, it's going to be just a big, here's your business, here's your residential. But it's that other 10% that we don't want to lose. And that just takes a little extra time.
And that's something that we didn't contract from an operations standpoint, just because there wasn't a way for me to charge where I'm not losing money to where it wouldn't be just an obscene charge to you. So it's outside the contract commitment, but that's what I do plan to make myself available during the transition. So whether if it's a multi-dwelling unit or the school to have a conversation, if they have a phone system, it gets fairly complex. So I'll try to make myself available
sometimes the tech can handle it right there, come in there. It's just, again, these larger ones, they gotta be handled one-on-one. But most businesses I've ever dealt with are pretty good about, okay, here's what I've got, and we don't wanna mess around either, you know? Here's what I'm getting from so-and-so, and then you can compare your services and what you can offer. Okay, you got X amount of internet service, 50 meg, well, we're gonna offer you 100 for, you know, this price, and, you know, you upsell maybe if you can, but so you keep it consistent, but other than that, it's really just hands-on.
At the end of the day, they still need to get their duct run to us, so.
Oh, yeah.
We need to get them.
Yeah, and most of them is, you know, you take I'll take the Lutheran deal, I mean, they've got their main area where we've already designed to put a bigger unit, basically, this MDU multi-dwelling unit on there, and some of the places where some of the other entities in town we've talked to that have like an 8-plex apartment deal, they've got a deal, and I know Nathan Hessen, I looked at some and showed him how some of that works perfect. We go right into the basement of the one, set it, and then you wire it to the individual apartments as they take it. So everyone's a little different, and a lot of them are smaller, where it's just going to take the little, what we call the clamshell, that little unit to put on, whether it's a business or a house, it's going to look exactly the same. But that's even like, when I'm on here and got their technician, that's the type of questions when they come in there. He runs over, he takes a look at it, and then if it's a really big deal, that's like Corey was saying, you know, we can be able, it doesn't mean we even have to be there, sometimes just be on the phone and saying, okay, but at the end of the day, what are you getting today? We'll take a look at and figure out, okay, how can we provide that service to these bigger entities? Because I'd say that maybe 5% that we need to deal with, but they're very important to you guys because they're the big users, so we want to make those guys.
We want it.
Yeah, and that's where that's some of the questions we're seeing right now. So, you know, already thinking about, okay, on your website, we need to have a section for that to say, okay, for you guys, and you may need to call in, we'll get the right people on the phone with you, that type of deal, and start that process with them, because it's time now to really do that, especially when there's any screws running around. Like the one the other day that called, it's like, wow, what's going on? So, but if, you know, people are paying attention when it's personal to them, so that's just normal.
So Patriot has completed 570 of the surveys, which is about a little more than a third of the number of surveys that were requested. Our contract with them right now is just for 888, so they got 64% of their contract completed for surveys complete. I kind of wanted to see how this worked for them. Now, it's $100 a site survey right now. I think the challenge we have right now is the communication to schedule the site survey. The next item has to do with the office. We're going to have a soft opening tomorrow. We're not really advertising it yet, but the gals will be up there working from that spot. They've already had 2 people walk in today, this afternoon. There's still people walking in and say, what's a site survey? You know, they I don't know where they're living, but they don't seem to know anything. And I'm hoping that Patriot will let us help them. You know, we can give them the phone number and tell them, we'll call Crystal here, but if she's not there to answer the phone, it's not getting anywhere. So we'll sign them up like we've done in the past, but I don't want Patriot to wind up being the slow link in the thing. If they need help, we've got office people that we can help do it.
And Crystal definitely will be open. She wants, you know, now that you have people there, now that can be kind of a joint task.
Yeah.
And where she could actually email her a list of the phone, so and then she can follow up or whatever. And so, yeah, she'll be happy with that, because that's how she works with most companies that are already in business and they're doing it. She does a certain amount, but she works with the CSR stuff. So definitely, yeah, she'll be happy to hear that you're ready to go and help her out, because that just speeds it up for them too.
Are people having training as far as, like the one gal does, as far as some of the technical questions then, or are they going to sit there like deer in headlights?
No, Angie pretty much can handle just about everything. Or if she doesn't, I tell her who to contact, whether it's somebody from FAR or whoever, and things have gone well. All 3 of them have looked over, they've played with the thing, and they're different set of eyes on what the customer's seeing. And we're catching things that everybody took for granted that was okay for the person that was tech savvy, but for the person that isn't tech savvy, they're able to make a lot of changes and improvements there. So, and there's people that just want to come in, sit down, and see the rates. They don't want to go online. They want to know about the taxes because we have, applicable taxes will be added, but we don't, I don't know what those are, state taxes and all that. Or if you look at the incumbents fees, they got all sorts of things in there. I have no idea what they're for. We aren't going to have those.
But most of the questions they're passing on are really techie questions of like the Lutheran home or the hospital, where they have a more complicated system, so they're trying to make sure we know what we're doing, I guess, and how we figure that out. But that's most of the individual ones. I would think there should be much.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a lot of people. They just, they just look at the price and think they're going to make their decision based on price. They don't understand why our price is higher when you're getting a different value completely, and they don't understand the speed, whether it's up or down. There's a lot of education going on. And, it's going to take a while. I think it's interesting to see. We got an awful lot of site surveys pledged there. Hopefully, I keep seeing more gigabyte requests on there from businesses and
Really?
people that are just residential. They understand the value they're getting when they got kids at home. I think it's going to help them out quite a bit. So.
Yeah, pretty much anybody who has children, the 100 meg is going to be where you're going to want to go.
Yeah, we've known that all along.
Yeah, and that's
why people were
it's become that kind of standard a couple of years ago in effect. But yeah, it's.
That office, you look at U.S. Cellular out there in the highway, you wouldn't think of anything that a cell phone place would have to have an office, everything just online, and it's just kind of standard. And man, that place is just packed. I mean, customer service angle there to explain the programs, and it's a big difference than just online. So I think that office is going to be huge. I think
so too. Yeah, and all three of them got really good customer service skills. They know how to talk to them and put them at ease and offering help. So I'm glad we're finally getting that open.
And being local,
Yeah.
a little bit of trust there too. Yeah, I'm glad to get it open too.
Yeah, we got the walls painted, the phones, most of the furniture in place, and the computers installed. So I think there's some carpet work. We're going to replace the carpet in the front area that isn't as level as the tile. We decided not to tear out the tile, just try to put a thicker carpet in there so it's more level when we don't have hopefully any trip hazards in there. And we got most of the furniture in yesterday. I think they got the last of it today.
What's the television for? Corey's office?
Some places watch TV.
Recliner?
Yeah, they're going to put that up so that when we get hooked up to CFU, we can show them the channels.
Oh.
It is also nice to have, you can monitor, so if someone calls up and says, hey, HBO isn't working, you can quickly say, well, is it Bob's or is it the network? So you can use that to monitor as well.
It show them that it's fast if they're having problems, that it isn't the whole system. Hey, we'll find out. It's not the system, we're good, so we'll send somebody out or something.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when people get that 100 speed, whether they can really tell the difference or not. Should have buffering problems or anything like that. So we kind of covered C already now.
Sounds like it, yeah. Yeah, so soft opening, so you're gonna have a grand opening or something like that in the future?
Yeah, we'll have one eventually. I'm not sure if we set any date for it yet for that. Might kind of depend on the weather. And, they did put up some signage on the outside that I guess if you go inside and look out on the street, you can't see it, but you can see it from the street looking in.
That must be what I have down in my building. It's that 150 that you can't see from inside, but it's neat. Double keyholes.
So those things can peel off after time if we want to change it.
You're gonna be able to offer specials just like everybody else does, but limited time and all that. And so you can have your published rates, you don't get any issues with your utilities commission as long as you have published rates, but everybody can do quote unquote special rates for a lot of times now they used to do every 90 days you had to go in front of the Iowa Utilities Board to talk about your special rates, and then now I think they got tired of it and said, look, just run your business, don't get too crazy. But at the end of the day, you're going to keep marketing, and again, the nice thing is with now that you have an office that's going to be open, people will call there / stop in and say, I don't understand this. And you're going to start seeing people bringing their bill in when they make the second trip. They'll almost all, and that's what I would do. And that's what I did on change of providers. I took my bill and said, show me what you're doing that's better and what's the price.
Anything else on C or A or B or any questions for Tom on A, B, or C? Or Dave or Corey? Anything else on that whole? People sure are impressed with the crews and stuff, and how many crews and
They've been a good company to work with.
Really?
And again, I think I've told you before, they usually don't win bids because they just negotiate because people just want them back. So we were shocked that they were low, and we teased the owner a little bit about where were you all the last, and he said, well, I got so many crews and I got all these steady customers, so okay. But yeah, they don't last very long in that company if they're not working. Those guys hustle.
Yeah. They have good equipment. You don't see too many breakdowns or stuff going on.
No, that costs them too much money. They're pretty good about that.
Super.
At least so far.
All right. New business. Financials.
Questions?
Well, I don't want to say anything, but it's really minor that we got $1,400 of rent expense. $700 of that's deposit, right?
Yes.
That's not expensive. It's minor.
It's already coded too, so that's why I put it.
It's early stages now. It's time to get all that stuff.
Where do you normally put that?
An asset. You hope to get it back. If you don't do anything bad, you'll get that money back at the end. It's not really an expense.
Technically, you can't spend it. People do all the time.
I'd say it's not a big deal,
So Cindy, you think you put it on a different line then?
I put it on a balance sheet number.
Perfect.
Your motion. So moved. Second.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Reports. Not much more we could do, I suppose.
Well, covered almost everything. Got the IP addresses ordered, and we got the NCTC application, and I'm not sure if we're 100% done. Curtis, are you still there?
Everybody's here all along.
Well,
I said something bad about it.
Curtis, are you there?
Or are you on mute? Is he on mute?
No. I don't know, he might have fallen asleep. He was in a coffee shop, so.
He's sleeping in the coffee shop.
All right, well, I guess you won't have anything to add this time. But, yeah, I guess only heard good things.
I'm here. Sorry.
That's okay. Did you have anything you want to add it for the good of the cause?
Do I have anything?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad to be so helpful for you guys tonight. people taking gigabit. So that's a nice trend. We'll see if that continues as more and more people take, sign up.
So did you price the gigabit too low?
I don't think so. I mean, if you have to price it too high, you don't get anything. So it's just a sort of, and it's hard to make any judgments because these are the very early adopters, the people that have signed up already, that have actually selected products. Those numbers that percentage will go down over time as you get into more of the run-of-the-mill customers that don't need gigabit. So that's really all I had to add.
Okay, thank you.
All right, talk to y'all soon.
Guess that's about it for reports.
Cindy? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries.